You have 5 seconds. You're a waitress serving coffee in a $10,000 a night suite. You overhear a $50 million deal. But you speak Arabic, and you just heard the translator tell his boss, a powerful sheikh, to sign a contract that will bankrupt him. It's a blatant scam. If you stay silent, you keep your job. If you speak up, you'll be fired instantly. Your heart is pounding. The sheikh is picking up the pen. What would you do? Layla Davis had to decide, and her choice would change everything. What city are you watching this video from, and what time is it? By the way, if you're enjoying my videos, I'd be so happy if you could subscribe to my channel and like this video. When Layla Davis, waitress at the Plaza Hotel in New York, approached the presidential suite to serve coffee to distinguished guests, she never imagined that the words she would hear in Arabic would change her life forever. Sheikh Ahmed al-Rahman, one of the richest men from the Persian Gulf, was about to sign a $50 million contract. His trusted advisor assured him in Arabic that everything was perfect, to sign quickly. But Layla, daughter of a Moroccan diplomat, raised between Rabat and Cairo, immediately recognized what nobody else in that room could understand. The trusted man was blatantly lying. The contract was an elaborate scam that would leave the sheikh bankrupt. With her heart beating 1,000 miles per hour, Layla did something no waitress should ever do. She interrupted the most important meeting of the year and pronounced 3 words in perfect classical Arabic that froze the room. This is false. What happened in the next 30 seconds would save a fortune, destroy a betrayal, and transform the life of a woman the world saw as invisible. The Plaza Hotel in New York gleamed under the October sun. The presidential suite was reserved for a meeting that would move $50 million. Layla Davis was 28 years old and had worked for 3 years as a waitress at the Plaza. Daughter of a Moroccan diplomat, she spoke classical Arabic, French, Spanish, and English. She had studied international relations at Columbia University with honors, dreaming of diplomacy. But when her father died 3 years ago, he left enormous medical debts. Layla abandoned her studies and ended up serving coffee at the Plaza. She needed money now, not future promises. That morning, she heard the manager explain who the guest was. Sheikh Ahmed al-Rahman, Saudi multimillionaire with $2 billion in businesses, maximum discretion, impeccable service. Layla knocked on the door at 10 a.m. Inside were 3 men, Sheikh Ahmed in an immaculate white thobe, an American in a dark suit with a shark's smile, and Khalil Martin, the Sheikh's trusted translator and advisor. She began serving coffee. The American was presenting a real estate project, $50 million investment, guaranteed 15% returns. Khalil translated to Arabic for the Sheikh. Then Layla heard something that froze her. Khalil, believing nobody else understood, Arabic told the Sheikh, "This American is stupid. His project is bankrupt, but we will earn millions with our share. Sign quickly." She understood perfectly. Khalil was selling out his boss. It was a scam. The Sheikh would lose his fortune while Khalil and the American disappeared with the money. She had 5 seconds to decide. She could leave silently or do something that would probably get her fired. Stop the betrayal. Her father had taught her that silence in the face of injustice is complicity. She took a deep breath, and as the Sheikh picked up the pen to sign, Layla pronounced 3 words in classical Arabic. "This is false." The 3 men froze. The Sheikh looked at her as if seeing her for the first time. Khalil went pale. "What did you say?" the Sheikh asked in Arabic, his deep voice full of authority. Layla kept her voice firm. "With all respect, Your Excellency, this contract is a trap. Your advisor is lying to you. 3 minutes ago, I heard him tell you to sign quickly because they're deceiving you to steal millions." Khalil shouted, "This woman is crazy. She's just any employee who knows nothing." But the Sheikh raised a hand ordering silence. "How is it that a Spanish waitress speaks perfect classical Arabic?" "I'm not Spanish, Your Excellency. I'm Moroccan. My father was a diplomat in Cairo for 20 years. I studied international relations, and I heard this man tell you that you're being deceived." The Sheikh stood up slowly. In English, so the American would also understand, he said, "This meeting is over. Mr. Johnson, my legal team will review this. You may leave." The American left practically running. Within 20 minutes, the Sheikh's security team and lawyers arrived. They found messages on Khalil's phone about the scam. Khalil collapsed, confessing everything. The Sheikh looked at him with contempt. 20 years of loyalty don't erase a betrayal. Leave. When they were alone, the Sheikh asked, "Do you know what you just did?" "I probably just lost my job, Your Excellency. You saved me from losing 50 million in a scam by the man I trusted most. Why did you do it? Why did you risk your job for a rich stranger?" Layla looked at him directly. "Because my father taught me that silence in the face of injustice is complicity. Nobody deserves to be betrayed like that." The Sheikh studied her. Then he took out a solid gold card. "My organization needs someone to manage international relations who speaks Arabic, French, Spanish, and English. And above all, someone with unquestionable integrity. $120,000 annually, plus bonuses, complete health insurance, housing provided. If you're interested, call me." Layla looked at the card trembling. It was 6 times what she earned. But she asked, "Why should I trust you?" The Sheikh smiled. "You shouldn't trust blindly. Investigate me. Take 3 days to decide. 30 minutes ago, I trusted Khalil blindly, and it almost cost me a fortune. You taught me that trust must be earned. That's why I respect you." That night, Layla investigated. She discovered the Sheikh was legendary, ethical, known for treating his employees well, impeccable reputation. 2 days later, she called. A week later, she flew to Riyadh to begin a completely new life. 6 months after that day that changed everything, Layla walked through the marble hallways of Al Rahman Holdings headquarters in Riyadh, reviewing documents for a crucial meeting with European investors. She wore an elegant tailored suit and professionally designed silk hijab. She carried an iPad with multi-million-dollar contracts she herself had negotiated. Her transformation had been meteoric. The Sheikh kept every promise, $120,000 annually deposited punctually. A spacious, modern apartment in one of Riyadh's best complexes with all expenses paid. Premium health insurance that had allowed her mother in New York to receive the cardiac treatment she urgently needed. And above all, a job that utilized every gram of her education, intelligence, and linguistic abilities. As Director of International Relations, Layla managed contracts with Europe, negotiated agreements with French, Spanish, German, and Italian companies. Her mastery of classical Arabic gave her instant credibility with Gulf partners. Her Western education allowed her to navigate European cultural subtleties. She was the perfect bridge between two worlds. But beyond professional success, something else was happening. Sheikh Ahmed, despite the age and position difference, treated her with profound respect. He consulted her opinion on important decisions. He valued her perspective. In meetings, when traditional Arab businessmen tried to ignore her or speak to her condescendingly, the Sheikh intervened firmly. "Miss Davis speaks with my voice and my authority. Listen to her as you would listen to me." And slowly, inevitably, though unexpectedly, they began to develop a connection that went beyond professional. Long conversations about philosophy, politics, the future of the Middle East. They discovered they shared fundamental values about justice, integrity, the responsible use of power and wealth. One afternoon, after closing a $100 million contract with a French company, the Sheikh invited Layla to dinner at a discreet restaurant overlooking the golden desert outside Riyadh. As the sun set, tinting the dunes orange and purple, he told her something that left her breathless. "Layla, for 30 years I built a business empire. I earned more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. But I realized something crucial that day in New York when you risked everything to save me. I had been measuring success with the wrong meter. True success isn't in how much you accumulate, but in who you become. in how you treat people, in whether you use your power to build or destroy. Layla listened in silence, sensing something important was coming. The Sheikh continued, "You taught me that a waitress earning $1,000 a month can have more integrity and value than a millionaire advisor of 20 years. You taught me to see people for what they are, not for what they appear to be. And in these 6 months working together, I've realized something else." He paused, choosing words carefully. "I've fallen in love with your mind, with your integrity, with your strength. Not with your position or your money, because when I met you, you had neither, but with who you really are." Layla felt her heart accelerate. The situation was complicated. He was her boss, 20 years older, from a different culture. The office rumors would be merciless. But looking into his eyes, she saw something she recognized. A man who had the courage to change, to admit he had been wrong, to value what truly mattered. She responded with honesty. "Ahmed, this is complicated. I work for you. There's age difference, culture, power. People are going to talk, judge, assume terrible things." The Sheikh nodded. "I know. That's why I'm not asking you for anything right now. I'm just telling you the truth. What you decide to do with that truth is completely your choice. If you feel the same, we can navigate the complications together. If not, nothing changes professionally. You have my word." Layla looked at him for a long moment, then admitted what she had been denying for months. "I've felt something too. But I was afraid. Afraid it was gratitude confused with love. Afraid of the power imbalance. Afraid of losing everything I've gained." Ahmed took her hand gently. "True love isn't transaction or power. It's two people who choose to walk together as equals, respecting each other. If you ever feel I'm abusing my position, if you ever feel pressure or discomfort, you tell me and we stop immediately. Agreed?" Layla nodded, feeling tears of emotion. For the first time in her life, someone saw her completely, valued her deeply. Not for what she could give, but for who she was. 18 months after that fateful day at the Plaza in New York, Layla and Ahmed were on the balcony of their home in Riyadh, watching the stars shine over the infinite desert. They had been married for 6 months, in an intimate ceremony with only close family and true friends. Their relationship had faced exactly the challenges Layla predicted. Vicious rumors in business circles about the ambitious waitress who married the multimillionaire Sheikh. Criticism from conservative sectors about cultural differences. Constant whispers about hidden motivations. But they had overcome everything with open communication, unwavering mutual respect, and absolute certainty that what they shared was real. Ahmed had insisted on a generous prenuptial agreement that protected Layla financially no matter what happened. Not because he distrusted, but because he wanted her to know his love didn't depend on his money. Layla had initially rejected the agreement, but Ahmed was firm. True love is demonstrated in actions, not words. Professionally, Layla had been promoted to Vice President of International Operations, handling contracts worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Her mother lived comfortably in New York with all her medical needs covered, visiting them regularly. And most importantly, Layla had found something she never expected. A partner who challenged her intellectually, respected her deeply, and had been willing to change fundamentally as a person. That night, as the stars shone above them, Ahmed told her something that moved her deeply. "Do you know what I think every time I remember that day at the plaza?" Layla smiled. "That you almost lost $50 million. Ahmed shook his head. "I think it was the luckiest day of my life. Not because I avoided the scam, though that was important, but because I met someone who taught me I had been living wrong for 30 years. I measured people by titles and money. I trusted blindly whoever told me what I wanted to hear. And I treated service staff as invisible." He paused with genuine emotion in his voice. "You, a stranger who owed me nothing, risked your livelihood to protect me. Not for what you might gain because you didn't know you'd gain anything, but because your father taught you that silence in the face of injustice is complicity. That moment showed me who I really wanted to be. Layla kissed him softly. And you taught me that second chances exist, that abandoned dreams can resurrect in unexpected forms, that a person's value isn't in their job but in their character. Ahmed hugged her tight. I've learned that true success isn't measured in billions accumulated, but in lives positively touched, in integrity maintained under pressure, in love given freely without transactional expectations. 3 years after the Plaza incident, Layla faced the biggest test of her character. During a routine audit, she discovered financial irregularities in one of Al Rahman Holdings' departments. Someone was systematically diverting funds, millions of dollars over years. The investigation led her to a painful truth. The responsible party was Faisal, Ahmed's favorite nephew, son of his deceased sister, whom Ahmed had raised as his own son. Faisal had been stealing for 5 years, financing a luxurious lifestyle of gambling and parties. Layla had 2 options: report the findings and destroy someone Ahmed loved as a son, or bury the evidence protecting family peace. For 2 nights she didn't sleep, struggling with the decision. Finally, she remembered her father's words. Silence in the face of injustice is complicity. She presented all the evidence to Ahmed in private, her heart broken by the pain she knew she would cause. Ahmed received the news like a physical blow. He cried openly, something Layla had never seen. But when he recovered, he did what she expected of him, the right thing. He confronted Faisal, who confessed everything. Ahmed fired him, removed him from the company, forced him to return everything, stolen by selling his possessions, and gave him 2 options: complete rehabilitation or total disinheritance. That night, Ahmed hugged Layla with profound gratitude. You saved me again, not from losing money, but from being complicit in corruption through blind love. I know that was the hardest decision you've made, and I love you more for having the courage to make it. Layla responded with firm voice. I fell in love with a man who values integrity above all. I couldn't betray that, not even to protect you from pain, because the temporary pain of truth is better than the permanent rot of lies. Are you enjoying this story? Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Now let's continue with the video. 5 years after the day that changed everything, Layla and Ahmed returned to the Plaza Hotel in New York. This time not as Sheikh and Waitress, but as a married couple who had built something beautiful on a foundation of mutual respect and personal transformation. They requested dinner in the main restaurant, and specifically requested to be attended by the youngest staff. During dinner, they treated every waiter and waitress with profound respect. They learned their names, asked about their lives, left generous tips. One of the young waiters, a 24-year-old Moroccan boy, served them with obvious nervousness. Ahmed noticed an engineering textbook in the pocket of his uniform jacket. He asked about it, and the boy confessed embarrassedly that he was studying, at night while working. Dreaming of finishing his degree but without resources, Ahmed and Layla exchanged a look. After dinner, Ahmed gave the young man his card and an offer, a complete scholarship to finish his engineering studies with a guaranteed position at Al Rahman Holdings upon graduation. The only requirement, that, when he had success, he would help others as he was being helped. The young man cried openly with gratitude, unable to believe his luck. Layla said something he would never forget. 5 years ago, I was where you are now, serving coffee while my dreams seemed dead. Someone gave me an opportunity that changed my life. Now we pay it forward. But remember, true success isn't how much you accumulate, but how many you help rise with you. 10 years after that October day that began as an ordinary morning at the Plaza, Layla Davis Al-Rahman stood before 500 students at Columbia University in New York, giving a lecture on international business ethics. She was no longer the young waitress with broken dreams. She was executive vice president of Al Rahman Holdings, managing operations in 30 countries. She had negotiated contracts worth billions. And most importantly, she had helped transform the business culture of one of the largest organizations in the Middle East. Her story had become legendary in certain business circles, not as a Cinderella fairy tale of finding her prince, but as something deeper. A lesson about how unwavering integrity can change lives, how the courage to do right has transformative power, how true respect knows no borders of class or wealth. She told the students the complete story without sugarcoating. Her father's death, abandoned dreams, years serving coffee while her education gathered dust. The terrifying moment of interrupting that meeting knowing she'd probably be fired. She told about Ahmed, about Khalil the traitor, about the 3-second decision that changed 2 lives forever. But she also told the difficult parts. The vicious rumors, social judgments, accusations of being a gold digger, nights of doubt wondering if she had made the right choice. She told about having to report Faisal, knowing the pain it would cause, about every moment where integrity had a real and painful price. The fundamental lesson, she said to the students with clear, firm voice, isn't that if you do right, you'll find a millionaire sheikh who'll rescue you. That would be dangerously simplistic. The true lesson is that your character, your integrity, your dignity are the only things you truly own. Money can be lost, jobs can disappear, luck can change, but who you are in moments of difficult choice, that defines your life. She spoke about her father, the diplomat who earned modest salary but had immense wealth in values and principles. She spoke about how those values sustained her when everything seemed lost. She spoke about Ahmed not as a rich savior, but as a man who had the humility to admit he'd been wrong for 30 years and the courage to change radically. The true miracle of my story, she explained, wasn't going from waitress to executive. It was that 2 people from completely different worlds found mutual respect based not on money or position, but on character. Ahmed respected me when I was a waitress. I respected him enough to save him from betrayal. That mutual respect built everything else. At the end of the lecture, a young female student raised her hand and asked the question everyone wanted to know. Did you ever regret speaking that day? You could have kept your safe job and avoided all the risk. Layla smiled sadly. Every time I remember that moment, I feel the terror again. But I've never regretted it, because I learned something crucial. Cowardly silence can maintain temporary security, but it destroys the soul slowly. The courage to speak can cost everything short-term, but it builds something nobody can take from you. The certainty that when it mattered, when it was difficult, when there was much to lose, you did the right thing. Years after that lecture, the Davis Al Rahman Scholarship Program had helped hundreds of young service workers complete their studies and pursue their dreams. The Moroccan waiter they met at the Plaza had become a senior engineer at the company, directing multi-million-dollar projects, and had created his own fund to help other young Moroccans. Layla and Ahmed had 3 children whom they raised with the values their own experiences taught them. Respect every person regardless of their job. Measure people by their character, not their bank account. Silence in the face of injustice is complicity, and true success is measured in lives improved, not billions accumulated. Every year, on the anniversary of that October day, they returned to the plaza, reserved the same presidential suite, invited all the service staff to a special dinner where they treated them like family, and told the true story of how it all began. Not to boast, but to remember. You never know who the person serving your coffee, cleaning your room, or working quietly in the background really is. Everyone has a story, everyone has value, everyone deserves dignity and respect. The plaza director eventually placed a discreet plaque in the presidential suite that read, "In this room on October 15, 2013, a waitress's honesty saved a fortune, a sheikh's humility allowed transformation, and both learned that true respect knows no borders of class or culture. May all who enter here remember. Every person deserves dignity. Every voice deserves to be heard. And 3 words of truth can change the world. Like if you believe every person deserves respect regardless of their job. Comment if someone you underestimated ever taught you an important lesson. Share this story to remember that integrity is worth more than all the money in the world. Subscribe for more stories that prove the courage to do right can transform lives. Sometimes life's most important lessons come from the people we least expect at the most unexpected moments. Sometimes the person serving your coffee has more wisdom than all your paid advisors. And sometimes all it takes to change 2 lives forever is the courage to pronounce 3 words of truth when silence would be safer. Because in the end, it's not money that makes you rich, but the character you live with, the integrity you maintain under pressure, and the respect you give every human being regardless of their position in life.